Hola chicos y chicas, hoy vamos a aprender los mandatos formales, es decir, los mandatos usted o ustedes. So as I explained to you in the Schoology post, you need the document that goes alongside this video. So you'll watch the video and you'll head into the document and you'll turn both in essentially. So before we get right into that document, let's review what we already know about commands, los mandatos commands. Por ejemplo, ya aprendimos los mandatos tú, es decir, los mandatos informal. See, these are informal commands. These are do commands you use with one friend, someone with whom you're familiar, someone you know well, to say things like do this and do that. Por ejemplo, lift weights, friend of mine, you're not strong at all. Levanta pesas. See, levanta pesas. Cuida al perro, care for the dog. Dale de comer al perro, feed the dog. Entonces aquí tú puedes ver tres fotos. How would you tell your one friend, bake a cake, or read a book, or study, or eat an apple, or eat healthy fruit, or eat healthy food? So type one affirmative do command into your Edpuzzle using the el, ella, usted form to form the command. So maybe some examples you also have with irregulars doesn't always follow the pattern, right? So maybe you had bate los huevos, lee un libro, come la manzana. But if you did want to say do your homework, it was irregular. Haz la tarea. Ven a mi casa. Pon la mesa. So those were all of our affirmatives. Then we completely switched up and we went on to negatives and we told our one friend, don't do this and don't do that. And that opposite process was a little more lengthy. Yo form, drop off the O, add the opposite ending, right? So we took a verb like hablar and we said, no hables. Drop the O, opposite ending. No hables. Or maybe we took a verb like usar and we made it no uses el teléfono. So can you, in your Edpuzzle, tell me, don't watch TV, don't drink milk, don't eat cookies, etc. Tell your one friend using a negative do command. So maybe you wrote in the Edpuzzle, no comas las galletas, no bebas la leche, no mires la tele, no uses el teléfono. But there were 5 that were irregular. Don't be sad, no estés triste, don't go to school today, no vayas a la escuela hoy. So those were negative do commands. So the process with an affirmative and a negative was quite different, right? Well, today we head into formal commands and the process is actually the same, whether it's affirmative or negative. So here's an example. Coma más frutas y vegetales. See, eat more fruits and veggies, but it's coma and not come. We just said it was come. Let's take a look at another one. Limpien la chimenea. ¿Lo comprendes? You understand what Santa's telling those kids to do or those people? Limpien la chimenea. Digan gente. ¿Lo comprendes? Digan. Well, what's digan? So today when we look at formal commands, that being usted commands, someone who you're addressing formally, someone who's older than you, a boss, someone who you're not familiar with, respectfully in a marketplace or something, or if you are addressing a group of people. And as we know, the thing about ustedes is not just formal. Most Latin American countries also use ustedes for informal too. It's only Spain that uses vosotros. So before you were able to only command one person. Now this process is used for multiple people. I call all of you guys ustedes for you guys. And it is an informal setting and you are younger than me. And it's in most countries, ustedes is for friends and also colleagues and bosses. So at this point, I want you to make sure you find that doc that I just gave to you. And we're gonna walk through a couple of notes and you're gonna fill them in. Pause the video as needed. So how do we form these formal and informal commands? So we start with that forma yo, quitamos la O, we take off the O, and we add the opposite ending. But think about what forms we're doing. We're doing the usted and the ustedes commands. So what are our opposite endings going to be? You're filling this in on the doc. I'm following along on the doc on my phone because I couldn't get to the printer. So you're filling in for AR verbs, we add an E or an EN. For ER and IR verbs, we add an A or an AN. So think about these examples. Abrir. Yo form, drop the O, add the opposite ending. For one person, abra. For a group of people, abran. Let's say it's a verb like traer, with the yo form being traigo. If I wanted to tell one person, like my boss, to not bring a document to my room, I would say no traiga. If I wanted to command you guys to not bring your books to class, I would say no traigan ustedes. So on your paper, you do have a pretty lengthy chart. What I would encourage you to do is pause the video and give it a try, and then check the answers. So for instance, if we want to say don't run, the yo form is corro, and now put the opposite ending. Don't run here, don't run here. No corra and no corran, which looks exactly like no corras for the do command. But the thing that's different about these commands is even if there's not a no in front of it, the process is still the same. It's the yo form, drop the O, add the opposite ending. So here you have the verb to have breakfast. I eat breakfast, and now change the ending. Desayune usted, desayunen ustedes. So pause the video and try it, or follow along with me. No salgo, so you would come up with no salga, no salgan. Sigo being the yo form. So if you wanted to command her to follow the rules, siga. If you wanted to command them to follow the rules, sigan. You can pause the video and try the next 4, and then you can listen to me go over the answers. If the yo form is no hago, then we're left with no haga ejercicio, no hagan ejercicio. Duerma y duerman. No lo repito, the lo going in front, because with negative commands, the pronouns always go in front. Don't repeat it, don't repeat it. Don't snack a lot, there's a mucho, don't snack. So whether it's sleep or don't sleep, repeat or don't repeat, do or don't do, the nice thing about the usted and the ustedes commands is it's one process that's always the same. It's not the 2 different processes like we had with the do commands. So we do have some irregulars. This is on page 2 of your doc. The kargarzars are still going to apply because we're adding these letters that change the pronunciation. So for instance, if you want to try them, you can pause the video. No saque fotos. Usted, you, do not take pictures. You guys don't pay the check. No paguen la cuenta, or paguen la cuenta, I apologize, that says pay the check. Don't have lunch late. No almuerce tarde. So why is this one plural and this one singular? Simply because that's what I put, plural and singular. I asked you for ustedes here, and I asked you for usted here. So those same 5 irregulars are going to apply that we learned with the negative commands. Remember, no vayas, no des, no estés, no sepas, and no seas. Well, the same forms come in here, but now we have multiple forms because we have the usted and the ustedes. So for instance, we have for usted, sea, vaya, de, esté, and sepa. And for ustedes, we have sean, vayan, den, estén, and sepan. So the only reason de has an accent is so that it doesn't look like the preposition de or of in Spanish. That's why des doesn't have one and den does not have one. It's not needed. Remember, we kind of didn't use no sepas a lot because you really wouldn't have commanded somebody to not know something. So it looks like I don't have the English on your document. So if you wanted to put the English, we have the commands for be, go, give, be, and know. So sea is more be as in characteristics, whereas estar would be more location or emotion. All of these don't end in an O in the yo form, so there's no O to drop off. So that's why we know they're irregular. And last but not least, think about what we learned with pronouns. With affirmatives, we attached them. With negatives, they went in front, right? Think back to the do commands. Sácalo, limpialo, escúchame, dime la verdad. Or we said things like, no lo saques. So the same thing is going to apply for ustedes. So affirmatives, they go on the end, right? Affirmatives go on the end. You should add that to your doc, and they need an accent. Sáquenlo, take it out. But if it's negative, they still go in front. So affirmatives, we attach, negatives go in front. But notice how it's the same verb, saquen and saquen. With the do commands, it was different. So there is a chart for you to try at the bottom of your paper. There's actually a chart that has double the amount that I have on my screen here, just checking to see that they're all the same. So feel free to pause the video and try them using the examples of read them, don't read them. I actually did the command form for you. Now it's just a matter of figuring out where to put the pronoun. Now maybe you've unpaused the video if you chose to pause it, so here's what you should have come up with. Invite me, don't invite me. Remember, we count back 3 is what we had talked about with the accent. So if the word was invite, we need it to stay invíteme. So we count back 3 syllables from the end. Uno, dos, tres, invíteme. And we'll practice more in class. Follow them, sígalas. Don't follow them, no las siga. Drink it, don't drink it. Lift them, don't lift them. Listen to my advice. In Spanish, these are the words for pieces of advice. So you would say, listen to them. Don't listen to them. And I wanted to give you an example with indirect, using lace. Tell them the truth. Don't tell them the truth. So you have digan lace and no lace digan. And then for the last 3, I actually have you coming up with the form on your own. So take a look at divertirse, which is the last one on your paper. Remember, that's the verb to have fun or to enjoy oneself. So enjoy yourself, diviértase. Don't enjoy yourself, no se divierta. So these would all be say because usted and ustedes uses say. The do commands used te. Pause the video if you'd like. Try the next 2. And check your work. Séquese el pelo. No se seque el pelo. Lávese. No se lave. So those are all the notes that we have in the notes document. You are going to turn that notes document in for points. There's one final question in the Ed puzzle that you will complete for that point as well. And know that in class we'll go over more, we'll try more practices, and there will be another YouTube video that I will share with you in case you need someone to walk you through that again. All right, nos vemos.